This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, LowcoSports fans. Welcome to the LowcoSports Lowdown. Thursday night in May and the last day of the high school sports season for us here in the Loco came to a close today with the 1A Boys Soccer State Championship and Los Canes. A disappointing result today, an unjust game. I was reminded why I don't get terribly invested in soccer usually because I can't handle the unjust results and when I'm invested. And it was a tough one for us today, 2-1 to Dixie, a game that we felt like we controlled and we're the more skilled team at least, but not the better team today on the scoreboard. So tough breaks, really tough way to go. I'm heartbroken for the boys. They poured their hearts out all season and today and came up just short. And I know how bad it hurts for them. So, but that's the dream, right? To have a chance on the last day of the season to hoist the trophy. And, we did get to collect a trophy today, one that we earned on Friday.
Only two teams get to be there
That's
at the
right.
end. So.
Yep. And the boys did get to go collect a well-earned trophy today, that lower state champion, state runner-up trophy that we earned on Friday. But we are definitely hoping to upgrade it to the bigger, better model today. But outstanding performance from a few players and just a great season from all the guys. But we'll also talk tonight. We'll talk more about it in a minute. But I've got some highlights for you, of course. And then also going to talk about new basketball coaches at Hilton Head Prep. One of them new to the area, the other not so much. We know him very well. Johnny Campbell going to take over the girls program, and then Michael Strickland taking over the boys program. He's got ties to our friend Coach Barron back at University of Maine. So well versed in his system and should be a pretty seamless transition. But we'll get into that a little deeper as well later on. And then Jimmy Searson is also going to jump in here in a little bit. If you're watching Jimmy, whenever you want to hop in is fine. We'll squeeze you in here in a little bit after we get through the Canes. Whenever you jump on is good. He's going to tell us about the Beaufort High football spring game. He made it out there. Not any, we're not going to share any state secrets or anything, but just kind of get a feel for what it looked like out there and Jimmy's thoughts on it, because he is the ultimate Beaufort High football fan.
He's Mr. Beaufort.
I know he's geared up for it. But how you boys doing? It's been an emotional day for me, but hopefully a little less.
What a great, still a lot to be proud of for this team. And I was not there. I was following our one of our not my friend, but a good friend who a good sports writer colleague, I guess, from South Carolina, who was sharing his updates on X today, and we got to find out a little bit what was going on. And unfortunately, I mean, from what I was hearing from him, Hardeeville was controlling the play and continued to put pressure on from the outset. And I saw their keeper made a big save early in that first half, 0-0 at the break, and then or actually 1-0 because Hardeeville did score.
We were down 1-0 at the break.
Yes. And then you got the equalizer, and then just a couple of minutes later on that free kick, Hardeeville got the go-ahead goal, which eventually was the game-winning goal. But man, those last 20 minutes, so it was, from what I heard, it was pretty much all Hardeeville. And I love just the no-quit attitude, intensity from this team to the very final whistle. And that's all you can hope for. And it's a cruel game. It really is. I've seen it at the highest levels. I've seen it at the lowest levels. It is.
We had a nice police escort send-off from the school this morning, as you can see here, which was cool. Memorial Stadium's a nice venue. The turf was a little slick, I'll say. Both teams slipped around a good bit. I much prefer natural grass for soccer, but it is what it is. But yeah, Los Canes arrived ready to go. I mean, they were fired up. They were in great spirits, great morale. They were definitely frustrated at halftime, feeling like they should have had some goals on the board and didn't. And the one they let up, they felt like they shouldn't have. So they really felt frustration there, but the leaders rallied the troops. We came out, and like you said, Wes, we got one really quickly to start the second half, and it looked like maybe we were gonna put it together and turn the corner there. But then I didn't think the man was touched, but he did enough to draw the call, and he fell down. It's hard to tell between a foul and a fall sometimes, but he got the call, and he converted the free kick from about 20 yards out. And unfortunately, we had a similar play at the other end that we didn't get the call, and we had some free kicks at the other end that we didn't convert. So certainly there were calls that didn't go our way. That happens a lot. But we still had the opportunities to win the game if we had converted some of the opportunities we had. But a lot of pregame footage in here to commemorate a big day for our school. I mean, playing for a state championship is always a big deal. For these guys to be able to do it in our first year of varsity athletics since 2012 is just incredible.
And if I can interject on that thought there, JJ, getting ready certainly for some stuff down the line. Been kind of a business day for me in all totality, doing very well. But talking about these guys and what they've been able to do this year, the guys that are juniors are coming back next year,
right?
And they're not going to forget this.
Seniors. We only have 4 seniors.
Yeah.
And then, the other guys that are 8th graders are going to be heading into the freshman year. So you think they have a chance. I'm not sure how the numbers look.
Well, I mean, we had talented
high
players
schoolers
playing JV. We had
they won't
varsity
forget
JV
this.
and middle school teams this year. So soccer is thriving in
Yeah.
Hardeeville, and so we'll see.
That means a lot. Just
I
to get to
I
this
just got a
level,
note
it's
from
huge.
our friend Saul, who was on with us last night, Saul Ramos, or 2 nights ago, and he said, "Thanks for your support. I'll get you that cup for my last ride." So Saul will be back, and there's Saul, number 10. He played spirited football today, man. He made some runs, especially in those last few minutes, like you said, Wes. And I thought that was going for a second. Ephraim just missed the bender. You can see in the first half we were putting some pressure on and just not getting opportunities. And then the keeper was shaky early. He mishandled a couple early on, and I thought maybe that was going to be a factor, but he makes a great save right there. And that really kind of helped him settle in. We thought we had that one. So you can see why the frustration was setting in at halftime, that we had not broken through yet, because we certainly were getting some chances.
And I gotta say too,
the
conditioning and certainly everything that you talk about during this time of the year. I mean, obviously they're playing on a football field, but
it was
we're
hot
talking,
on that turf.
We're talking hot football type conditions for a game that's pretty similar in the pacing. A lot of movement down there. You and I, JJ, have been talking about hydration a bunch the last couple of days. I mean, it's paramount. It's paramount. Even when you're doing indoor stuff, in the winter, it doesn't matter. Hydration is paramount, but especially with this. So kudos to the guys for keeping up with that.
You can see the physicality of the game, too. I mean, they had some
That's
boys.
how they're able to do that.
Yeah. Oh, another opportunity. And these are all in the first half. I mean, we just had so many chances. And then we finally got one in the second half. Edgar bends in the kick from right at the corner. I don't remember if that was a corner kick or a free kick, but he was able to bend it into the net. And that tied us up, but they got one right back. And then, wow, that's a play on. There were some questionable play-ons.
Also, it was what I heard. It was just incredibly hot over there.
It was incredibly hot. It was also very windy.
Yes,
that was our last best chance, Edgar, or one of our last best chances, I should say. Nearly hooking up, and then we still had some more though. Saul running off the outside. Look at Saul; he's so fast,
man,
relentless. Still there, but they get it to the keeper. They played a smart game. Yeah, they did have gray frosted hair. They were very tall. They did have gray frosted hair, That was a choice.
Hmm.
That was Ephraim just barely missing, and you can see the collective reaction to that one. That seemed like the one, and then still, I thought we were gonna get one. Choppy looking across the field, and he misfires, but still there. Ah, I mean, just pressure throughout the last 15 to 18 minutes. We just kept it on him, but just couldn't get one in. And then Ephraim
Oh
is
man, I thought that
taken
was
out
it.
by the
That was it
slide
right there.
tackle. It was right on his foot, and
Oh,
he took it off. And Ephraim was injured on that play and had to come out of the game. And that really put a
yeah.
crimp in things.
Ugh.
But still, some chances.
Yep.
And we're still going to get one more good one before it's all over. And so we'll racing to the outside again.
Ooh.
Oh, taken
Ooh.
out. Yes. And that presents us with another. I'm telling you, it was a very physical game. A number of yellow cards were issued. And so we'll make yet another run and gets wiped out yet again. So we get a corner and have another chance. No. So frustrating. Oh, those last minutes are just so anxiety ridden when you're down one. The clock's ticking. Every clearance is just a dagger to your chest.
Yes.
It's tough.
Oh, man.
You want it so badly for them. But you can see the relentless effort on both sides. Just a great game.
Yep.
I have to congratulate Dixie. They had a good game plan. They executed well. We did not make the adjustments that we needed to make. I mean, we attempted to, but we didn't execute them as well as we wanted to. And they were determined to not let us get anything easy. So the one last chance, Edgar. I still at this point thought we're gonna score right here. We're gonna score right here. Nobody could get home. Right to the last minute and a half, I really thought we were going to score the equalizer, and if we got to overtime, it was our game to win. But we come up short. So, terrific season for my Canes. Love those boys. I've really grown to really appreciate them and their love for the game, their passion, and their love for each other and the team, and trying to represent our community well and make us proud. So, thanks for indulging me on the Canes. It was the biggest story in the Loco today, playing for a state championship, last team standing. So really proud of those guys. And like you said, Marcus, 4 seniors, a couple of them played pretty pivotal roles, up top. Jason Villatoro in the midfield is a pivotal player for us. Roberto on the outside is really an impactful player. And then Yorvin and Leo are also solid players who played, contributed significant minutes today. So there's holes to fill, but the JV was solid this year. We had some guys who kind of floated back and forth to allow us to field both those teams. So there's some guys that didn't get a lot of playing time through these playoffs who are ready for a bigger role. And we'll get to work with them over the summer, and they'll get to work over the summer. We'll get to work with them in the open season and get them ready to go for next year, make another run at it.
And I want to congratulate again you, Max, and everybody at Hardeeville, because what a year of athletics. Football definitely did some great things.
Yeah,
Obviously, you guys with the spring sports.
It is what it is, right? Like,
building it up.
First year, we had a lot of fits and starts kind of getting going as far as getting coaches hired and stuff like that, and so it's baby steps for sure. Football had a frustrating season overall, I would probably say, but had a huge win against Branchville, got into the playoffs, played tough in the playoffs, and so few seniors, you felt good about what was coming back. And we do have a head coach in place now, and I still haven't figured out if I'm good to say it or not, but Jimmy knows, so I guess he can say it if he wants to. He's not bound by any embargoes. He figured it out on his own. But no, we're excited about football next year. Basketball teams had a tough year. No two ways about it. The girls just were pretty bereft of talent. They were very young. One senior, and then everybody was like ninth graders and below, like tiny babies. So they're going to be fine. But to the point that we're considering, like, do we just play JV next year? Because they're all JV age kids, and it might be better for their development long term to let them play a year of JV and then move up. So we don't know. I mean, the transfer portal's open, right? You don't know who's going to end up at your school in fall. And then boys, so we've got talent there, and I think we'll put it together this year. Spring was a good wrestling had a good year. First year program wrestling, first time we ever had it in Jasper County. Had 7 guys, enough to go to the playoffs at the end, and had 1 go to state, so that was great. And then this spring, track had a really solid season. Baseball getting a playoff win was huge. I felt great about the foundation we built in softball. And then, of course, both soccer teams were terrific. I think if there had been a 1A girls bracket, I think our girls would have had a chance to play really deep into that as well. Being put in the 2A bracket, that was tough. But they were solid as well. So yeah, it's a really good foundation. I think our kids, it's hard when your kids haven't really been around, varsity athletics at their school.
Right.
And so they've embraced it. They're starting to get it, what it means to be a part of the school team and represent the team and be a part of something bigger to yourself. So we're well on our way. And this summer is going to be really productive, much more so than a year ago.
You just look at what's to come. I mean, it's just really the beginning for this program and this school, and you look towards what we can see, not just with the soccer program, but with football and the coaching staff that's really going to, I think, elevate this team to another level once we get to the fall. So there's a ton more excitement to come as we get towards the next season, 2025-26, which is absolutely crazy. But I mean, we are
coming fast, man.
Yep.
We're winding down this school year, and we know the summer's getting shorter. So
it's a fun one to be.
I've already been looking to try to culminate some football schedules.
Oh, I've already started. So
get an idea.
Yeah, I've already started
to try to take a little bit of pressure off Jeremy over at WHHI. So that was big bulk of what I was doing this week.
I've been working
get an
on
idea
that as
of who we might see, and I tell you what, based off what you said as far as football goes, and seeing them in person last year, I've got my eye. If there was a way that we could finagle our schedule, we're looking to do 8 games this year. If there's a way that we can finagle our schedule to get a couple of teams that we at least haven't seen in a while, if not ever, I got
you got to get that Hardeeville Ridgeland game on the docket,
buddy. and I've got Hardeeville in the back pocket too.
Hardeeville Ridgeland is the one you want.
I tell you what, I'm hoping that we can get out to Beaufort or see. I
believe it's September 26th.
A couple of times.
Do that one. Well, speaking of Beaufort,
lots more info coming up as far as
Hardeeville at Hilton Head is another suggestion from Blake Rayleigh. That'd be a good one.
Sounds like could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, well, BJ whopped just last year, but BJ graduated a good bit.
New Hardeeville team, you never know. Early season game.
BJ graduated a good bit. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hardeeville Whale Branch. That's another one you can get on.
That's one that I initially thought of.
That'd be a good
one. A little early, I think, for what we want to do.
Right. So this presenting sponsor of the show, Mickelson Law Firm, is the official real estate closing attorney of LowcoSports and our presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. They are the presenting sponsor of the LowcoSports Lowdown and our all-star sponsor. They're also our original sponsor and with us since the beginning, and they'll help you with all your legal needs down at Mickelson Law Firm. And tonight they present our friend Jimmy Searson, the Beaufort High School super fan. What's up, buddy?
How y'all doing?
Jimmy, it's been too long, man.
I know, it's been way too long since I've been on here. Y'all been doing.
We group text with you all the time, but but we haven't had you on the show in a minute. But I always like to get you in here, especially when you've got some insight for us. And you were out at the Beaufort High spring game, which is always a big deal for junkies such as yourself who just can't wait till fall. So you said that, they weren't wearing numbers and stuff, so it was hard to tell who was who. But one guy that you definitely could pick out was Chase Olson, the former Battery Creek quarterback who's now over at Beaufort. How did he look tonight?
He looked pretty good. I thought he looked better, running the football. He had a couple of nice long runs, but I'm glad Beaufort got him. I'm glad he transferred over here. But I think he's going to do a good job this year. But he looked good running the offense and, running the football.
What else do you see from those guys tonight?
Yeah, I was going to say Beaufort's strong point this year is going to be the offensive and defensive lines. Beaufort's defensive line looks really good. They got to the quarterback a lot in the spring game, and they got some big boys on there. And, a lot of these guys have played together for a while, but I think that's going to be Beaufort's strong point, which is a good thing. If you got it, that's where it all starts on the offensive and defensive line.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think coach will most likely tell you that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing big boy football, 4A, you're going to go against some big boys in the trenches.
With the running backs and the skill position players that they've had too, if they can stay healthy, that report means a lot for them, that their line looked good.
Yep.
No, it's just a spring game, but that's a great sign for them.
Most definitely.
I agree. That's where most of the returners are on the offensive and defensive lines. And I don't know who the running backs were, but the two running backs that they used, they got they're tall guys, and they got the good weight on them. I'm not sure who they were, but they look pretty good too tonight.
All right.
Yep.
I mean, they always come up with another running back. There's always another one coming through at Beaufort. There's never been a shortage of guys who can run the ball over there. And if sometimes they aren't even running backs, sometimes they're wide receivers that they moved to running back, or defensive backs that they moved to running back, or quarterbacks that they moved to running back. They just got athletes who can tote that rock over there. It was a rough year last year, obviously, for Beaufort, but I think there was a lot of flukiness involved in it, a lot of injuries. And I sense that you're not concerned that you feel like that was an outlier last year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Finished 2-9 last year, which is, I didn't see that coming, but I mean, it happens every now and then. But they had a lot of injuries last year, and this year, I really think they're going to have a good team, especially since they got good offensive and defensive lines. But I think they're going to be pretty good this year. But I think last year was just one of those years,
Right.
Yeah, they just seem kind of snake bitten, and I think the receiving core didn't really kind of pan out as much as you would have hoped with a quarterback like Samari who could really throw it deep. If it wasn't quite because Amari got hurt, that messed that up. So it just was a weird year for them, but coming off such a great run, the last few years. So it kind of caught us by surprise, but I do think it's the outlier. I think they'll be right back there in the mix this year. I know the middle school program over there is always really strong, and their JV is always good. They don't, they're never hurting for kids. They're always going to have kids who can play. And they bring guys up as freshmen who are ready to contribute frequently, which is a testament to that middle school coaching staff that they're getting them prepared to be able to contribute as freshmen. So, I think they'll be just fine. But it was a weird year at Beaufort overall, kind of.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was impressed by
that baseball team was fun.
Yeah.
Good.
What were you saying, Wes?
That's what's going to be my next question.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to
Go
ask
ahead.
about that baseball team, and just about how hard they play, especially that game at home where they're able to dominate. Couldn't quite bring that same energy on the road, unfortunately. But I love watching how this baseball team competes, and they're going to lose a couple of guys who were impactful, but I really enjoyed watching that team, and that comeback to clinch the
Scrappy.
district title a couple weeks ago was tremendous.
Yeah, that was an exciting game. They were losing 7-2 and came back and won 8-7 against Hartsville. And
Right.
this team impressed me this year. They lost some one-run games, but they also won a lot of one-run games. So they had a good team this year. Coach Adam Mullen, I think he's done a wonderful job since he's been the head coach at Beaufort.
Yeah, solid season for those boys over there. They'll lose some dogs this year too, so they'll have to kind of reload next year. But there's a lot of kids playing ball in the Beaufort.
Mm-hmm. And I saw they got the Beaufort Ospreys are back.
They got thank goodness. I'm so happy for that. And
Me too.
Jeremiah Young's doing a good job of getting that thing going again. They've got 19U and 17U teams this year, so senior and junior teams. And I started talking to Jeremiah about he would love to see us try to get another Legion team going at Hardeeville that could pick up Jasper, Hampton, and maybe parts of this side of the river, just to get another local team playing Legion ball. So we got a shorter road trip at least 1 week, and just get more kids playing ball, period. Legion ball is good baseball. It's real baseball, and it's $300 for the whole season. You play Monday, Wednesday, Friday if you're senior league, or Tuesday, Thursday if you're junior league, and you just get to play a lot of baseball, get a lot of reps close to home, and then you can still go play your travel team and your showcases and stuff on the weekend. It's a chance that maybe if you don't pitch for your travel or showcase team, you get to go pitch for the Legion squad. You play the outfield on the showcase team, but maybe they need you at second base or third base on the Legion team, so I hope more kids will take advantage of that, because it's a good deal. And I know they're looking for a few more players. And I'll tell you what, man, some of those summers when both Beaufort and Hilton Head had good Legion teams going, that was so much fun to go watch those games in the evenings. It was amazing.
I remember as a kid, going to watch those games during the summers. Those were a ton of fun to take.
Grown men hitting tanks out of high school fields. Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
I remember those
because they bring back the 19-year-olds after their freshman year of college. They can.
Right. Yeah.
But Beaufort Hilton Head had good Legion teams back then.
Real good. I mean, when I first got here, Patrick Lawson and Ryan Kelly were both playing for the Hilton Head team, and they both got drafted. And then, Eric Sonberg, Cody Sonberg was on that team, and he hit monster tanks.
Yeah,
his dad played in the bigs. Like, they had some real players, and then Beaufort did too. I mean, when all those boys, Blake Gruhl and Chris Waters and all those guys came through, both those teams were really solid, and it was fun baseball. And I hope we can get back to that again. I'd love to see more of that.
Too. Yes.
I mean, Legion is like, it's almost like a collegiate summer ball league, but for high school kids. Like, so, and so I just wish I wish we could get back to that. It was better. It was good. It was good when high school kids played Legion baseball. And I hope we're trending back in that direction. Yeah.
Yes. That would
all right.
That'd be cool.
You also
I have some more questions. I have one other question for Jimmy. Just taking a look at the schedule for Beaufort football. You open with Greenwood on the road. Always tough opponent. Philip Simmons, a common team that you have faced start of the year, the last couple of seasons. Then you got Goose Creek, and then a couple of Lowco squads before you get in the region play. So, talk to me about what you're looking forward to in the schedule, and maybe what your expectations might be of some of our other teams in the region.
Yeah, I love Beaufort's schedule. Coach Libran always plays, a tough schedule. Yeah, Beaufort opens up with Fort Dorchester, and Fort Dorchester's always in 5. And then,
is it before the 29th? Is there a game that's not on the Max Prep?
Yeah, Max Preps didn't have the first game.
Okay, Fort Dorchester is your first game. All right.
Yep, Fort Dorchester at home that 22nd.
All right.
Yeah. And then they go on the road to Greenwood. And I'm looking forward to going to Greenwood. Greenwood's always a powerhouse of football.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then you talk about
Yeah,
Simmons, they're good too. So I love this tough schedule that Libran does because I think it helps Beaufort in the region. But I.
Oh, Jimmy blacked out on us.
Lost him.
We lost Jimmy. He got gremlined. But the region is, I don't know what to make of the region yet. I'm reserving judgment for now. There's a lot of turnover.
Way too early.
A lot of turnover.
Yeah.
I mean, Bluffton looks like they're going to be pretty good. I think
Hill was
Carleton's
great,
going to
but
be.
Lost a little bit from what we saw.
I think Carleton's going to be a good bit better.
Bishop England, of course, your defending
Bishop
champ.
England will be a problem.
Yep.
May Rivers, I think, going to be pretty good, but we got to see what they do at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Hilton Head has a lot back, but also loses a good bit. Like the quarterback's back, but Temco, I mean, that's a big, but Zarnecki's back.
Yeah. They do have
lost a good bit on defense,
yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes with those
kind
guys.
of too early to tell. We'll have to hear
Way
about
too
how
early.
spring ball's going and into
transfer portal.
Transfer portal, all that. A lot of moving parts can still kind of change things before we get to August.
We'll definitely know a lot more in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep. And then Marcus, you'll be getting ready to talk with them all before you know it when we get to media day. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, man.
JJ, Bob, myself, whole bunch of folks will be there.
Yeah,
whole crew. So there you go. Jimmy seems to have been gremlined, so we'll see if he pops back up in the green room. But I think we had mostly covered what we were going to cover with him, so that was good. Good to hear from Jimmy, and he's excited about Beaufort High football, so you can rest easy. Eagles are coming back.
He is Mr. Beaufort.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's only missed like 1 or 2 games in his entire lifetime. It's crazy.
I think it's still at 1.
I thought it was 1. Yeah, that's what I thought. Wow. It's crazy. We welcome Hudson's Seafood House on the Docks back to the Loco Booster Club for another year. It's a great place for seafood sunsets and cocktails on Hilton Head Island. And presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode came out Monday with myself sitting in for Rich Basirico, with Curry Kirkpatrick and Bob Stevens. Good stuff. Sponsored by Hudson's Seafood House on the Docks. Hilton Head Furniture has quality handcrafted furniture made just up the road in Hickory, North Carolina, and they bring it down here to the Low Country to sell to you to keep in your home for a long time because it's quality furniture from Hilton Head Furniture. And HHI Windows and Doors, our old friend Coach Barron, shifting gears from screens and backdoor cuts to windows and doors.
I love that.
And cutting your doors.
I just came up with that one on the fly. But he's going to improve your view of the Low Country at HHI Windows and Doors, and that's a great transition into our next. I did hear from Coach Barron last night. He connected me with the new coach at Hilton Head Prep, new boys coach Michael Strickland. And Coach Barron said, I want to introduce the two of you. He had some nice things to say. Said Justin runs LowcoSports and covers local high school sports. His platform is a real advocate for area athletes. True. He said Michael Strickland is the new prep basketball coach. Michael do a great job at prep. Thought you might want to get him on for an interview, which we are going to be doing very soon with Coach Strickland.
A lot of dead time with the spring sports coming to an end.
Exactly. I said we're going to be leaning heavily on interviews real soon. So, but what we know that he came from he comes to us from RB Stall, Stall High School up in North Charleston, where he was for just a little over a year here, I guess. But he came down. Let's see. He was director of training at IMG Academy, which is a big deal. He was an assistant at the University of Maine, which of course where he crossed paths with Coach Barron. An assistant at Military Magnet in Charleston, and TMP basketball, the AAU program, which is a pretty big one up there. And then he was also at Bishop Walsh School. Oh, you said he was at he worked with the Citadel as well?
Yes,
Gotcha.
according to what
I'm
I'm
looking
reading
at
from the
I'm
Instagram
looking at the
post.
release from when he was hired at Stall, because that was the first thing that came up. Yes, he was director of basketball operations at the Citadel for a season. He was also at James Madison. He's been all over the
Wow.
place. Done a good bit in the in the sport, and it looks like he's going to be an outstanding addition at Hilton Head Prep and be able to continue. You assume he's familiar with the system. Obviously, he knows how to teach the system the way Coach Barron did, so the terminology should be the same. The should be a pretty seamless transition, you would think, and it seems like that was maybe facilitated that way intentionally. That Coach Barron said, "Hey, I already know the guy to keep this rolling." So I expect it to keep rolling at Hilton Head Prep with this hire, and then we'll talk about the girls next. But what do you guys think about Mike Strickland taking over the Dolphins
From
dynasty?
from the little bit that I've read, in hearing the news the other day, and telling a few of my cohorts at WHHI about him, and reading up a little bit more today, I mean, I think it's a really smart hire, as for certainly the program, and obviously Coach Barron leaving after a few years, to have that stability, somebody that he knows, somebody that runs, similar system, that that type of thing. I think that just on the surface, it's a great hire, but I'm really looking forward to talking with him and getting to know him. You really don't know what you have until you actually hear from a coach.
Sure.
But from everything that I've read and what I've absorbed the last about 48 hours, I don't think they're going to be missing much of a beat as long as they've got the athletes coming in from
Well, and we've seen
along.
that
I
the
didn't
guys,
realize.
they've been able to land some terrific talent that have.
Yes.
I mean, you look at a couple of guys, Cusano, Heartbreak.
Yeah.
They just continue to
Right.
land big names
Yeah.
from other spots where they're able to insert in, and they
Right.
just find a way to dominate everybody else in Skiza. And I
Yeah.
expect that to continue even with the coaching change. They're gonna find opportunities to bring in some quality players, and especially
Yeah.
with the resume that
I
we're
think so
seeing
too.
from Strickland. He seems like he's the real
Yeah.
deal and has terrific level of experience at the college level. Remaining, of course, good friends with Barron, as he said, but also over there at the Stall High School most
Yep.
recently. And
Well,
you look,
coming back to Stall was a bit of a homecoming
yeah,
because he played at Carolina Forest High School in Myrtle
ah,
Beach, and then went on to
that was a South Carolina
Randolph-Macon
connection.
University. So he is a Carolina boy, South Carolina boy.
Mhm.
So coming back to Stall was a homecoming, and now he comes a little further south to the real low country, the Loco.
Yeah,
So we look forward to getting to know Coach Strickland and seeing his teams perform because, like we said, we expect it to be more the same. High
Yep.
level of basketball out of Hilton Head Prep, and so the girls program is finally going to be without a Campbell sister for the first time in a while, between Katie
been a
and
couple
Courtney
years.
coming through, but still going to have a Campbell because Johnny Campbell, the Pops Campbell, is taking over the girls basketball head coaching
Would you
job
know
from
it?
Phil Hartman. Isn't that funny? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
guessing that Johnny probably
with
didn't
no
want
relation,
to
right? There's
coach.
no
No, it's
relation.
dad. It's
Oh, it is that.
dad.
That's yeah.
Yes,
That's what I.
yes. Johnny Campbell,
Yeah.
Courtney and Katie's dad,
Courtney and
is going to be
Okay,
the head
oh,
basketball
Connor
coach.
Staff.
all right. Very
And
nice.
he can do that because he doesn't have to go far away to see Courtney play next year because she'll be right
Very
here at
true.
USCB. So
Ah,
he just doesn't schedule any games on Wednesdays or Saturdays, and he's good, right?
perfect. Yeah, you get
Um,
best of both worlds over there. That's awesome.
but look who's here. Long time no see. Look what the cat dragged in, Max Araj.
What's up,
Hey,
guys?
What's
what's
up,
up, buddy?
buddy? Been laying low. Did you kill
I
a guy
have.
with the trident?
Yeah, sure.
That's a Anchorman reference, by the way. Brick killed a guy with a trident. I saw that. You might want to lay low for a while. You're probably wanted for murder.
What?
But
Wow.
Anchorman, in Anchorman, Brick Tamblin, played by Steve Carell,
Steve Carell.
they get into a fight with another
I
news
love
team, a
Lamp.
rival news team, and he throws a trident and hits a guy in the chest. And somebody after the fight says, "Wow, that was awesome!" And he goes, "Yeah, Brick killed a guy with a trident." And he goes, "I saw that." And he goes, "You might want to lay low for a while. You probably wanted for murder."
No, man.
So sorry, that was a journey. It's been a long day, week, month, year. But welcome back, Max. How you been, buddy?
I've been good. Just laying low after real long baseball season, real kind of stressful season as well. A lot of stress gets put on you as a coach. So
Heck
just
yeah.
decided to lay low, spend some time with family, and now I'm back. I'm ready to go. And for the end of the spring season,
Yeah,
So,
everything's pretty much done now.
It was devastating for Los Canes today.
Yeah.
A heartbreaking defeat, but a great season nonetheless. So yeah, that's a wrap on high school sports season. I also talked with BJ Payne today. He talked a little bit about the camp. He was happy with it, and he's excited about next year. Number 20. He's already got big plans and big names
That's
already.
what he was telling me last week.
Tentatively booked. So excited for him for that. And he was asking if USCB had a volleyball program, which
I think it's coming.
doesn't,
I think it's
but
coming.
I think it'll be soon.
But yeah,
You know what?
it's got to be.
I really wish they'd go ahead and start beach. Start beach volleyball. And then you already got some crooks on campus for when you start indoor.
Yeah, but I think you probably would like to get indoor volleyball before beach volleyball, but
not necessarily. I mean, beach is
Are there schools that have beach and not indoor?
I don't know, but I don't know why you couldn't.
Yeah, I guess it's possible.
All it takes is one.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I thought we should have done it when we were in the Sun Conference because all those little schools in Florida were adding beach. And
yeah, that's right.
I was hoping maybe we would
that's
jump on there because we already had sand pits on campus. I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
But Caitlin Jackson from Hilton Head Christian is going to Mercer to play beach volleyball.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and she worked hard to get that opportunity. It's becoming. I mean, she much prefers beach to indoor. Some girls really do, especially if you don't have the height. But you're not a setter. If you're not over 6 foot, but you're not a setter, you like beach because you can get away with it. The versatility is really the key there. You're not expected to go up over the net necessarily. So it's cool. It's cool variation on the sport. Definitely, it's fun to watch. The Olympics obviously popularized it with Misty May and Carrie Walsh.
Yep.
And now
No
it's
relation
all the rage.
that I know of.
Really? Be a lot cooler if you were.
I know of. Yeah, it would.
I ain't related to Dale either, or Jeff. Neither one. What else you boys got? We got any other major notes?
Just got that.
Not much else. I'm just getting ready to pull my
think of.
final thoughts together, and just final. I guess just wrapping up the spring sports season as a whole. We had a couple of championships in the skis of soccer with Hilton Head Prep girls winning one, Hilton Head Prep boys or Beaufort High boys and girls winning one, and some outstanding teams as well. When you look at Hardeeville and I really thought May River boys had a chance this year. They put up a terrific run. Bluffton boys kind of surprised as well. And then you look at baseball and softball and some competitive teams that I thought really produced. When you look at obviously baseball for Hilton Head Prep, Hilton Head Christian Academy, that was probably the big story. And Max, I don't know if you ever gave much of your thoughts. I don't think we've talked to you since Hilton Head Christian Academy won that state championship.
Yeah,
facts.
Yeah, it's special. I mean, and unheard of, to be honest. You don't really see that often a school, especially at the private school level or the private school side of things.
Well, winning back to back in different classifications.
In 3A, but then 4A.
Yeah, pretty rare.
I mean, you can see it. Absolutely. I mean, you can see it at public school level. I believe James Island is probably one of those teams that could do it. Obviously, they've been one of the top teams in 5A this year. They were in 4A last year. There's always a good chance that they could do it. But, that's the public school side of things. When you go to the private school side, that jump from 3A to 4A and playing at the highest level of baseball is always a huge leap for any school, no matter what the sport is. To see this Hilton Head Christian baseball program just be absolutely. I mean, I was honestly, I was really shocked especially with that first week of playoffs and how they went undefeated, beating out a 1 seed, beating out a 2 seed, and I just was like, if they keep this going, they're gonna win. I mean, it was so clear and obvious. I was very shocked. They hit the right time to really peak on their baseball season, and they really did do that. So the best part about this is, yes, they're losing Hayden Brooks, but that's it. That's it. I mean, they are poised to be one of the favorites for the next season.
And almost guaranteed to pick up at least one kid that either moves in or is looking for a better situation.
And they still have a solid pitching staff, even without
and
Hayden.
They got a good JV.
Solid, yeah. So I mean, this is a program that's not going away for the next. I think the next.
They have to
5
make
to
it
10
to
years. I mean, I'm being honest.
They're pretty stuck up, and they're pretty stuck up, and they've got some pretty good strategic, friendships, partnerships, so to speak. They're generous with their facilities for affiliated, partnered programs. Like our Waves team has a number of HHCA kids on it, so those are their kids. They let us use that field, when we can. Same with the Clutch team, 13U. And so, you're building goodwill in the baseball community when you do that. And I think it's a good move. I think it's always a good move when you let people use your facility for good. And don't lock that thing down,
Yeah, and I do really think, like, I'm not joking when I say for the next at least half decade, this program is going to be.
I mean, obviously, if you have a coaching change, if Jay goes somewhere else or something, things can always go the other direction, and people can leave just as quickly as they come.
I think the one thing,
but it looks like, I mean, it's been a wisely built program.
Yes,
smart.
And I think the one thing too is, even if Jay leaves for whatever reason, he ends up leaving, I think these still have a good program that any coach would want to take.
Well, I mean, look, they've got that's what I meant by smartly built program. They've built it. They've identified the right people who have kids in their school, who are key, like long time members of their school, who are great baseball coaches. Danny Morgan is not your typical dad out there coaching baseball. He's a real baseball coach. Aaron Jackson is not your typical dad out there coaching baseball. He's a real baseball coach. Jason Bruni is coaching the middle school now, and he has become a real baseball coach.
I mean,
he doesn't have the same background as Danny and Aaron, but he knows the game because he's sat by Aaron for 7 years or whatever.
Well, we say this.
So they know that those guys aren't going anywhere. So even if there's a change at the top, they know it's going to carry on.
Yeah.
Which I think leads on to saying this is probably the best coaching staff in the area right now for high school baseball.
I would say May Rivers coaching staff.
I will say
coaching staff would be the other one that I would say.
Kind of close to there. And of course, Hilton Head Prep with Chris Wells, who just won a state title.
That's very true.
Yeah, and Ken Susi is a great baseball coach. I don't know that I want to go there yet. There's a lot of really good baseball coaches around here. It is a very good staff, but I don't know that I can necessarily definitively say best one. Just because there's a bunch of really good ones. But it's a really good one. It's a really good one. And they've got a lot of good people involved, a lot of hands on deck. And that's by design, and it's beneficial to them. But also a lot of hands on deck sometimes means a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and that can get dicey at times, so people don't always agree. And when you have too many of them, the likelihood of that becomes more prevalent. So, all right. So let me give our last sponsors, and then we'll do parting thoughts and get on out of here. Base Hit Life is our baseball and softball themed apparel sponsor. If you want to get cool styles to look your best on the diamond and live your best base hit life, go to basehitlife.com. Dr. Ambrose Cole is your official chiropractor of LowcoSports. Find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right in mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country, getting your floors so clean your feet will thank you. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. All right, gentlemen, parting thoughts. Marcus Walsh, you're up first.
For anybody that used to watch ESPN at 5 o'clock,
Yes.
or anybody that has for about the last 20 years, I think, is it 25 that they're getting
Yeah.
through?
23?
That I
Like
think
that?
that's right.
I think it's
Yeah.
23.
Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, for the first time and who the heck knows how long, I will be here in my office, glued to my television to watch the final episode of Around the Horn with Tony Statsboy Reality, formerly
Stat
Max
boy.
Kellerman, and
End of
and
an
the
era.
crew.
Yep.
And it most certainly is an end of an era. Let's see, Woody Page was on earlier
Oh my
this week.
gosh.
They've had a bunch of others. Sarah Spain,
He's
Kalashaw.
been around since the
Kalashaw,
beginning.
Bob Ryan may have been on it earlier this week,
So
but Tony said in a clip, I think from today's show, that they're going to have 4 of the legendary Around the Horn panelists. So I'll have to certainly check it
That'll
out
be
and
is
yeah.
see
Jay
what's
Mariotti still
going on.
alive?
I
Do I
don't think
remember
he
that Jay
is.
Mariotti
Oh.
passed?
Something
I
happened with him.
hadn't heard
Whatever.
anything,
I
but
think
I mean, he hasn't been on Around the Horn in ages
think he
because
Something happened.
I
I
think
think he
that
may have passed.
if
I
he didn't, that
Nope.
bridge between
He's
him and
still
Around the
alive.
Horn,
no.
still
He had
alive.
a felony,
burned.
felony charges. Something that happened.
That would be
Yeah, he got in some trouble.
something if he showed up, because at
That
last
would be.
I read anything about Jay Mariotti, he was in a heap of trouble. And I have to say, when I first started watching 23 years ago, for a short time, he was my favorite. Based
Yeah.
out of
Yeah,
Chicago,
I remember
loved
when he
the
was
way
on as
that
well
he
because I remember
did it.
watching that show when I was like 8, 9 years old, turning it on after school or just ever I
Yeah. Right.
yeah, and it was
Homework or
iconic.
Especially after
playing
school,
outside
man.
Yeah.
after school.
Oh,
yeah.
It'd be like off season
Here's
for
what
me.
happened to Jay Mariotti. He left the show in 2010 after 7 misdemeanor charges from an alleged domestic dispute. But he claimed that the show effectively ended when he left, and he blamed wokeness for ESPN's decision to end the show after 23 years.
Yeah, he's not coming back
He won't
tomorrow.
be on, that's for sure.
Doubt it.
Wow.
Reality has made several attempts over the last 14 years to contact Mariotti
To
with
get
no
Jay
success.
back. Yeah.
So no, just to reach out to him and
Or
mend fences, I think.
right.
But no, I haven't watched Around the Horn in a long time because at some point I was just like, there's
I
just too
just
much
think that
noise.
feels
There's
like it
too many
wasn't
hot takes.
as
But
Right.
with
I
that
remember-
said,
Yeah.
when it first came out, I was in J school, and it was appointment viewing, and it was amazing when we would go cover a game, at Colorado, and Woody Page was in the elevator with us, or in Indy for the Final Four or the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament, and Jay Mariotti was eating dinner at the same places or eating lunch at the same place as us. So that was super cool, and I was a Kornheiser acolyte and still am.
Right.
And so I was listening to him on ESPN radio every day, and then PTI hit the air, and
Yes,
Around the Horn
the
hit the
shows
air.
always came on together.
And
Yeah.
of course, as aspiring sports journalists, we were hooked. I mean, we were
Yeah.
absolutely hooked.
Yeah.
You should definitely, as a fan of the show, you should check out Pablo Torre Finds Out. His most recent episode was with Reali, and one of his most recent episodes. And
Dan
it
Patrick
was
just
great.
did a great interview, long form interview with Tony too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Pablo, of course, was on the show for a number of years, so he's got a lot of they've got a lot of shared memories and stuff, and it was pretty cool. Well, goodbye to
Yeah.
Around the Horn,
Yeah,
and I'm excited to see what Reality does next, because that kind of became his thing. Like
Yeah.
he kind of
Well,
adopted
he
it,
was.
and
Yeah.
It has been for
Yeah. I mean,
right.
that-
But I
that-
mean, like he started
what
out as
he's been
Stat
known
Boy,
for. He
but
was
like
on
he
PTI originally,
right,
correcting Tony and
right,
Chili Kornheiser and his
yeah,
partner.
Tony and Wilbon.
And Mike
Yeah.
Wilbon.
Yeah,
I
Wilbon.
think- And I think if I'm correct here, Max Kellerman only did it those first 2 years.
Right.
Then Tony slid right in because they let Max go.
Right, but like he took ownership of it in a big way, and
Sure.
he like
that's what I'm
really
saying.
molded it
He
into what
definitely
it
made
was.
it his own.
And so I got the sense from listening to him, at least on Torre, that he's planning to do something.
Oh,
And
there's no
it's
question.
gonna have some similarity to it. The idea of scored competitive arguments, I don't think that's dead.
Competitive
And
banter.
yeah, exactly. It's fun stuff. It's
Yeah.
definitely the end of an era. Unfortunately, it ushered in an era of way too much copycat content that is not nearly as high level, and
Right.
because it's
Well, that
not
seems like it always.
actual journalists doing it, it's just chirping people most of the
Right.
time, or journalists who are becoming caricatures of themselves, like a certain certain man whose initials are SS with an A in the middle, caricature. But anyway, parting thoughts, Max Raj.
Obviously, great season for Los Canes. I'm so sorry that it had to end like that. That's just terrible. That's just a really hard way to end it. I'm really. I wouldn't say I'm angry that it ended that way, but I'm I'm not disappointed either. It's just it's kind of frustrating. But great season for them. I mean, really, because it started out a little rough. They had injuries here and there, and really had to fight through it. And when they got that full team back, boy, were they on a roll. And I was really hoping for this one. I was really hoping that they'd get this one, but that's just how it goes. And hats off to them. My other parting thought is I did see in the New York Times and the Atlanta Journal that Ronald Acuna Jr. is returning tomorrow to Major League Baseball for the Braves opener against the San Diego Padres.
I'm glad you told me off to activate him off my IR.
Off the DL,
yeah.
Not the IL.
IR.
Whatever.
I'm not IL.
I still call it the DL.
Different.
So,
Yeah.
He's back. And by the way, if
you
you didn't see what he hit while he was at AAA, what was his batting line was ridiculous. He had a .413 batting average in 19 plate appearances. So just unbelievable. And his training staff said he's ready to go. And so the word is out that Atlanta's bringing him up for tomorrow's opener against the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Thank God. Because
that should bring a huge boost to Atlanta's offense, one that's much needed for them. But I have another parting thought that I saw earlier today, and it kind of felt like we knew it was possible that it was going to happen. But some big news at the college football playoff today.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, they will be moving away from the scene where the top four conference champs get the top four seeds automatically. It'll be straight 1 through 12 seeding for the 25-26 playoff.
Which is how it should have been to begin with, if I'm being completely honest.
They just got a little too cute with it.
However, looking past that year, there have been discussions amongst the conferences that we could have as big as a 16-team playoff that could start as early as 26, where teams or conferences would be allotted a certain amount of qualifiers. And so I saw this today that we could have a situation where the top two conferences, maybe like the SEC, could get X amount of teams. So they could get like 4 teams in, and then another conference would get 2 teams in. So I'm not sure if that's completely fair, but
I don't know exactly. And they would be predetermined.
That out, but we could see more than 12.
I mean, we're still bro. If that ever ends up being the case, I mean, we're still going to be another 3-4 years out from doing that. At least 3, right?
Is the contract like in a sense where it has to be 12 through a certain year?
I would think so, because they had it at 4 through a certain time frame, and that was on the contract. So I assume that's what this is right now. I mean, I mean, they can keep talking about it. It's just when they decide to do that. But I agree with Wes. I don't know if that's fair to have it allotted like that. I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan. 16, I feel like is too much. If I'm being honest, if you're gonna keep it big, I'd keep it at 12, like it is
Yeah,
right now.
you get that buy
I
for
would.
the top couple of teams, but I would be surprised that eventually
'Cause I
doesn't
think-
stay 16 or
yeah,
even maybe bigger than that.
I also think having 12 teams straight seeded, I think was what they should have done last year.
Yeah.
I think having that straight seeded 12 team format, I think, is the best possible thing you can have. So
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Hard to get it right. It is. It's tough to.
It
to decide.
is, and it's hard to knee jerk to 1 year worth of data too. Like I think we need to see it play out for a couple of years before we make too many rash decisions. At the end of the day, as long as we have a playoff, it's better than what we had before we had a playoff.
Yeah.
Well, and that
Yeah,
was
well.
far superior to what we had
Yeah.
before, which was the sports writers said one thing, the coaches
Right.
said another.
The other
Before
thing,
that,
you know.
it was
There you go.
basically up to the poll.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
part
was,
was
and
when
it
you
was
had
crazy
points
too.
Theoretically, a coin flip.
Well,
Yeah,
and
it's
it felt
so funny.
like too that like the writers and the coaches would both like latch onto a narrative on a team, and it was like, well, if that team doesn't lose, then they're gonna be the champion because they've decided they're the best already. And so
Right.
now at least we get to settle it on the field. So I don't know. You can miss me with too much complaining about the college football playoff because I lived through a time, too much of the time without one to be frustrated about too much about any kind of playoff that actually decides it on the field. I do think we're bordering on too many teams though. In every playoff, it's getting out of control.
Except for March Madness, you can't say no to March Madness.
The hope is that it doesn't expand. There have been talks about some years
Oh,
about
if they expand that to
No.
120
If they
or
expand
whatever
that,
they're
that's
talking
the
about.
worst mistake you
68's
could possibly make.
perfect.
If they go to
No,
132, so
68 is
oh my
perfect.
God.
I like when it was 65.
68.
I like
68 is-
60. I like 64, 65. I thought 68.
I like 64, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
but-
Sure,
Well,
but they're
I
not
think
going to reduce teams.
I think
Yeah, no,
it's
they won't. They
fine.
won't
No.
bring any
If they
at
change,
this point,
if they
it's
change
16 or
that,
higher.
that would be
I don't
the
mind the
biggest
first four.
mistake
It allows
in
for more
history.
teams on the
Well,
board.
here's my only complaint about the first four. I don't think 16 seeds should ever have to play, and I don't think conference champions should ever have to play in the first
16,
four.
like who watches 16 versus 16? That first
Right.
Tuesday. Or
And I
Wednesday?
don't think it's fair to make. I don't think the conference champions already played their way in. They shouldn't have to play their way in again. That's
Right.
for the last
Yeah.
8 at
Yeah.
large bid should have to play each other for the last 4 spots.
Yes, because it's supposed to
That's
be
the only way it makes sense to me.
Well, it's supposed to be an automatic bid, which means you're supposed to be in the tournament
Right.
anyway. The first
Well,
four,
that's why they say they're not playing games. They are tournament games.
They're
just
not.
The first 4,
they're absolutely
but
100% not.
I
There's
agree.
no way you can call it now. I
agree,
find that
but I don't know why
ridiculous.
we're talking about that in May. But anyway,
I'm just saying.
that was called an
because we started
ADHD
discussing-
off ramp.
Yes.
But
That
we
was
have
a tangent at its
Well,
finest.
it'd be
Yes,
like
it was.
expanding. It'd be like expanding the baseball tournament as well, or the softball tournament for that matter. You put
Right.
too many teams in, it just becomes a whole big mess.
Speaking of the softball tournament, it is back underway at this
Ooh,
time.
super
Yes, it
regionals.
is.
Yeah.
So,
Regionals are.
well,
going on.
here's a
Texas A&M
little
went down.
news for you. Here's a little news for you.
Good.
My parting thought. We've been building quite a roster of basketball trainers at One Loco. 1L Hoops is taking off in a big way. Rob Benson working his corners. We got Fish in there. We got Keenan. We got Coach CJ. We got Jamie Manning. I don't know who all we got. That's a bunch of them. We just got another one that I'm hearing about. Coach Huck. Coach Huck is a Kim English disciple, which I'm very excited about because Kimmy English was my guy back at Mizzou. And he's been coaching, he's been around. He's about to pass the praxis and become a teacher, be eligible to become a teacher. And he's looking to coach some basketball. And he's joining the One Loco coaching staff. So
Awesome.
welcome aboard, Coach Huck.
Right.
Those kids are running about every night in some gym around here. So we're looking to get baseball and softball rocking and rolling this summer. Close to announcing a One Loco baseball director as well. We have an agreement in principle. So we'll let that out real soon. So be on the lookout. But looking ahead to One Loco stuff for the weekend, let me tell you what all we got going on. I'll tell you in a second. Here we go. One Loco training this week. We've got, we have basketball small groups tonight. Then on Sunday, we got the 1L Basketball Academy going on with the girls at Hardeeville High School, 6 to 8. Oh, that's not on Sunday. I don't know why it says that. Should be 1 to 3 on Sunday. Train efficiency. Coach Brian going to be out at Hardeeville High School football field 12 to 1 on Sunday. He does great work. And then One Loco softball rock and rolling this weekend as well. 1 to 5. We'll have younger kids ages 9 to 12 from 1 to 2:30. Pitchers and catchers 2:30 to 3:30, and then 3:30 to 5 will be the middle school and high school age kids. So if you want to train up and get better locally this summer, One Loco is the place to do it. So I will leave you with that, and thank you, gentlemen, for a great show. Thanks to Jimmy Searson for jumping on with this. Thanks to Los Canes for inspiring me this year to work harder and be a better person. They were awesome. And thanks to all of our sponsors, especially the OGs, Mickelson Law Firm. And thanks to you fellas for being the best ride or dies you can have. For Wes Kerr, Max Araj, and Marcus Walsh, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Loco.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Loco!